Hello and welcome back to your favourite TV show, The Table. My name is Batsy and today I'm joined with four, I'm the fifth one, lovely panellists. From my far right we have...
I'm Frida.
Hi, I'm Chimmy.
My name's Josh.
I'm Demi.
So today's topic is going to be one on attractions and preferences. So I'm going to start from my left with you, Dami, and I'm going to ask you, what is your top 3, let's say, or top 5? I think the top 5 list of what you look for in a man, starting off with your must-have.
Okay, are we talking physically or personality or both?
All of it together. What's your top and then what's your not so top?
I mean, I guess saying a Christian is a given, right? That's a given, but that's like the number one. It's a non-negotiable. That's what scripture commands, and it just doesn't, for me anyways, it just wouldn't work. Like, my faith in church is just too huge of a life for to even have to be explaining to someone. It's just not. So yeah, I'm Christian, intelligent. I really, really love it when a man can teach me things. Like, if you can teach me a new word, oof, chile. I love smart men. So I'd say definitely Christian, intelligent, handsome. I definitely have a type. I definitely do have a type. I didn't really realize how much so until recently. I thought, oh snap.
What's the type then?
Tall, dark skin, beard, you know.
Oh gosh.
Okay, Josh.
Really asking, I just want to know.
All of that falls under the attractive.
For me, tall is just taller than me in heels.
Okay.
Like, you don't have to be 6 foot, but as long as I can wear my heels and, you know, I'm not towering over you, I'm good.
You don't
That sounds
Kevin
super
Hart and his
superficial.
wife
Right?
kind of situation.
I mean, everyone is different, and that's not my personal preference. But again, I'm not going to disregard someone because
of their height.
Yeah, let me be honest. Okay, I wouldn't. If I got to know you on like a friendship level and we really got on, then I would look past it. But I wouldn't initially be attracted to someone that was. Do you understand what I mean?
Yeah,
like, if I saw a guy and he was attracted and he stood up, I was like, oh snap! There's not much difference to when he was sitting down. I wouldn't necessarily be that. That sounded really shady. Lord, I'm so sorry. Can you still better die for these people? I apologize. That for me, that would kind of be a bit.
I understand. It's not on your list.
It's not on my list.
Okay.
So hold on, where am I? Number 3. So Christian, intelligent, attractive. You have to be funny.
Dark and handsome, right?
Basically, yeah. You have to be funny. And in my head, I think I'm funny. I don't know if other people agree, but you have to accept my version of humor. Even if you don't always get it, just accept that I'm a strange person. So for me, that's very important. Funny, family-oriented as well, because I love kids. So for me, if someone didn't really care about family and didn't have a desire to have kids, that would be a deal breaker. Cool. So I think that's my
That's a very concise and hefty list. I like that.
I mean, my actual list is a lot more detailed. I was just trying to think about the top. So yeah, so those are the mains, I would say.
The main 5.
Can I say family/ambitious? I know there's no correlation between the two.
You just want to
I just want to throw it in because ambition is very, very important. So family-oriented and ambitious.
Okay.
Yeah.
Hear that. And what about yourself, Josh? Top 5, from the top being the most important and then everything else.
First thing, obviously, she has to be a Christian, has to be a God-fearing woman, a woman after God's heart. It's very important. So that's the first thing. The second thing, she has to be submissive. And I like submission. Submission is now obviously, like,
it's not a dirty word, but explain it.
Submission, yeah.
Clarify.
Submission can be interpreted in many different ways, right? Submission to me is just someone that is willing to learn. Because you know, there's a lot of women that feel like they come into a relationship that they feel like they know everything. They want to be doing chess and all that stuff. Do you know what I mean? I need someone that's open to learning new things and that just has a teachable spirit. Do you know what I mean? And someone that's not stubborn.
Okay.
Do you know what I mean?
I'm with you. Yeah.
Yeah. So when I find someone that just has a submissive personality, submissive spirit or whatever, very attractive. I love that.
I've got a question, sorry.
I'm not surprised.
Yeah.
Could one label that perhaps as open and willing to learn as opposed to submissive?
I mean, like I said, it can be interpreted in many different
Fair.
ways, right?
DJ, that's your definition.
But my question to your question, why do you favour that word over, as in openness, over submission?
Because so it's funny because when you mentioned submission initially and we all giggled, you said, oh, it's not a dirty word. But it's so funny because I was listening to a podcast recently where they touched on submission, and there seems to be, quote unquote, a negative connotation with the word submission, which is the woman has no say, you know, you only speak when you're asked to be spoken to, if that even makes sense. You know what I'm trying to say, right? So it has a negative connotation. So it's not that I have an issue with the word submission itself. One of the definitions that were given on the podcast, which I quite liked, was the husband and the wife submitting to one mission. Which I like. So it's not necessarily the word. I just felt like based on what he described, it seemed more like someone that's open and willing to learn as opposed to, you know, the general definition of submission. That's the only reason.
I do think it can have negative connotations, but if we think about it, at the end of the day, the word it's scriptural, it's biblical. I mean, me and submission, we've come a long way. I'm not going to pretend like I always loved the word. I definitely didn't. But I think there's actually so much power in submission when you understand it. Having said that, that's not the topic of this episode.
Yeah, sorry.
So let's not segue too much.
I would like someone that can dress, someone that knows how to like
can I revise my list?
Put outfits together, do you know what I mean? And like dress up.
So coordination.
Yeah, coordination.
Is it beyond the outfits or is it like specifically to do with the outfits? Do you associate the outfit coordination with like
a character or something?
Somewhat I'd say. Not entirely, but you know, somewhat.
So you just want her to dress well, specifically?
Dress well, you know what I mean? Because
man, like Joe. You know what I mean? Like,
you know, I want to go out and have my little trophy by my side and she's looking all good, yeah?
She's also submissive in that.
Basically, because I'm someone that I'm really in. A lot of people think I'm a snob when it comes to that because I like to buy like, you know, the designer stuff and all that, and I would like to spoil my woman. Do you know what I mean? I buy her.
if she's
all right,
so long as she's
we need to stop.
You know what I mean? Like, so that's just, I'd like to contribute. Do you know what I mean?
Would you call yourself a traditional man?
I wouldn't.
Because the submission and the coordination has just taken me back to like 1950s. You know, when they want their woman to be perfect, prim and proper. You know, she always has her hair perfect, never has any hair misplaced, always dressed and always wearing a corset to make everything look like. Do you know what I mean? That's just what I just thought in my head.
Well, I mean, I don't think it's that deep. Like
the way you're rubbing your hands is like, secretly, that's what I want, but I won't say it.
No, but like I appreciate it. Do you know what I mean? Like I like it when women make an effort with their appearance, you know what I mean? And she doesn't have to be like all prim and proper, just someone that tries, do you know what I mean? And just, you know, looks clean and all that stuff.
Sorry.
Yeah.
Okay, so we've got a Christian submissive woman can dress.
So adventurous.
I'm revising my list in my head. I'm sorry.
Adventurous, like someone that likes to, you know, go out of the ordinary and do weird things like
define weird.
Sorry.
I mean, well, a weird thing to me would be like apple picking.
That is weird.
Yeah, do you know what I mean? That's
that
really,
is so weird.
That's really weird.
Yeah,
but I mean, someone that has like a very, you know, open mind, that's you know, open to doing different things, traveling, all that stuff, you know?
Yeah.
Last thing.
Cherry picking?
No.
Sorry.
Strawberry picking.
Last thing, I think someone that has like someone that's similar.
Okay.
I am attracted to the opposite. Well, I'm a very like laid back, quiet person, but I feel like I would get along with someone that's also laid back and, you know, chilled. So I mean, ideally, I think I'd be okay with that. Do you know what I mean?
That makes sense.
Yeah.
That's almost biblical.
Yeah.
I really like that. Well done.
So
Nice one.
there we go.
You redeemed yourself.
There's nothing wrong with what you said. I mean, you lost me at apple picking, though. I'm not gonna lie. You lost me at apple picking.
I like that actually.
Okay.
It's
The way you
random
describe,
things.
yeah.
Okay.
Apple
Alright.
picking
Yeah.
sounds fun.
To
Out
each
of the
their
box,
own.
like-
Yeah.
I'd rather just go to
It's
Tesco and
like
get
I get it
apple
only
picking.
because I would prefer to receive a cactus or an aloe vera plant as opposed to roses? Because I feel like roses is just so cliche. Give me an aloe vera plant.
No, I
Cactus
love roses.
doesn't die. It can
Yeah,
live
that
without
too.
water for a very long
Is
time.
that on the list then of what you want in a man? A man that
Must
can
provide supply on a regular basis.
No.
Okay, so now your top 5 from the most important to the least.
Okay, so
Christian.
Do we even need to include that on the
yeah,
list?
I feel like
No.
I feel like it takes up.
I'm
No.
going to revise my list. I'm just saying.
Let's
because-
just say Christian,
And it is
a
number
given.
one
It's the default.
because it's ultimately your values, your belief system, and that will drive so many other areas of
How you
life.
do things.
So definitely not only Christian, but someone that is willing to grow. And that is one of the biggest lessons I learned a few years ago, because I used to think, someone that's spiritually mature. Listen, Christianity is not a Super Mario game where you reach level whatever and then that's it. Ding, 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 ding. You reach the highest level, that's it. It's ever evolving. So to me, I'd rather have someone that's quote unquote not as spiritually mature, but that desires to grow and to know more, rather than someone that's quote unquote mature and is like, oh, I've arrived. So
King
that's
Asa.
so that's Christian. I like someone that can. So my list is actually quite similar to Dami's, to be quite honest. Someone that can teach me new things. So it's not only about new words, word of the day, but things such as new experiences, new.
I'm seeing correlations here, submissive and the learning thing, willing to learn and wants to learn.
But it's Josh, we'll talk later. Seriously, so it's someone that can just someone that can and not only show them, but vice versa, really. It's
And
experience.
it's also open to what you can offer and what you can teach.
Exactly. So definitely on there.
You're only on number 2.
I know.
Yeah.
It's just because I feel like I'm going to be judged. And for
Don't
those
be
who know, we know
judged.
why. Because you haven't heard it. He's got to be taller than me. I am 5'3". I am not asking for
I was
very
about to say,
much.
sis, it's not that hard. Love you, but I'm just saying.
No, but that's the thing. Because every time
Have you met guys shorter than you?
Pardon?
Have you met guys shorter than you?
Oh, yes.
Seriously?
100%. I have seen over the head, past the head.
That's
Yes.
quite shocking.
Yes, a few.
And
a
did
handful?
they approach you or?
Gosh, you're making
I'm
Leave
sorry.
it.
you're making this sound really terrible.
No, it is. And the thing is, I just feel like I'm 5'3". I'm not asking for much. So to me, that's an easy tick
Question
box.
though, why is I know that women, we like a tall guy, you want to look up to him and protect her, all that stuff. But why is this such an important thing? Because I have a feeling you might say it has something about height as well.
Not necessarily, actually.
Okay, which is good. But for you two, you've spoken about height right now, saying that the guy has taller than you in heels, taller than you in general.
I mean, my heels are usually about 4 inches, though. So.
Okay, so still that's still taller than you.
Yeah.
Anyways. So it's just kind of like, why is that on your list? It's number 3 on both of your lists.
Oh, was it?
Can I, for the record, as you guys know, already revised my list. Other than going through it, mine wasn't necessarily in order.
Okay.
I just kind of threw it out there.
To be fair, yeah.
I understand. But it's on your 5.
As
top 5.
to why, I don't know, maybe it's a product of the patriarchy that I don't really want to embrace. But I guess it's just that mindset that, the man has to be more, he has to be taller, he has to earn more, he needs to just be more. Maybe, I'm not saying definitively that's what it is, but you're right, where does this idea come from? You're just conditioned. It's more common to see a woman with a man who's taller than her. And maybe that's just what we're used to. So maybe I'm just kind of adhering to the convention without really thinking, because I've never questioned it until you asked me now, why do I prefer a taller man? I don't know.
I think psychologically,
No, go for it.
it's easier to respect someone who towers over you. If you have a conversation with somebody and they stood up, so if you sat down and they stood, automatically you're like, whoa, bring it down a notch, because you're like towering over me. You're trying to take control of the situation. And for a woman, you want to be looking at your man as the one who is saving you, who is protecting you. And when you look at someone who is below your height, you see them as a child, someone. Because that's how we look down at children.
I was ask you if they were children that
so
approached
deep.
you. I was thinking, I don't know how they're shorter than me. But
I think it's a psychological defect, not a wrong thing. It's as a human being. Like in the animal kingdom, they have similar things that they do. There's certain things, like a man needs to look like he's responsible. Your parents will teach you to be responsible before you take on a woman. So in a woman, you're thinking, if you're yay high, listen, when the burglar comes into the house, it's just, I mean, come on.
No, and do you know what? You've actually articulated it really well, because when you asked the question, I actually started thinking, thankfully you answered first, so I could really, I could give it a thought. And actually it has to do with the whole notion of the man being the protector and things like that. It's that's ultimately what it is.
I think about when I say I'm looking up to my husband, like, oh, give me your arms, oh my God, big strong arms. You know,
yeah, that's all very romantic. But yeah, ultimately that's
ideally.
No, but that's ultimately what it is, because that is what I'm looking for. It's something that I associate with manliness as well, being able to look out for.
I understand.
Yeah. So plus my brothers are really tall as well. I can just imagine my brother just picking them up like this and being like,
oh my God. Younger brothers or older?
Younger, yes, 9 and 11 years younger than me.
Ooh.
And they are very tall. Yeah,
wow.
So
your husband can't be bullied by your brother.
I think it'll put a little fear into a man.
Christmas dinner. So someone that can make me laugh. As I said, I was very similar. Yes. I don't really like to take life too seriously unless I really have to. So just someone that's just easygoing. Let's just laugh. Like, it's my favorite saying. It's not that deep.
Yeah.
Like, it's just not that deep. Let's just keep it pushing. And the fifth is probably kind of linked to the second one, but someone that is adventurous and likes to explore. So I love to travel. I love to travel, absorb new cultures, do new things I haven't done before. Yeah, so I'd say those are probably the top 5 I've managed to scrape in the last 20 minutes.
I like that. Okay, finally.
Gosh, list, I don't know. I think there's an idea of a man that I would want to marry. First of all, we've said is a no-brainer. He has to be a Christian. But I don't want someone who attends church. And calls himself a Christian. Like, I want to see that you're a God-fearing man in your mannerisms. So for me, my attraction really is character. And so that makes it quite difficult, isn't it? If someone stepped to you, you're like, I don't know you, I've never really seen you mingle with your people. So for me, automatically is a no. I don't care how tall you are. Like, I need to sense that you're a godly man and your character's right. And so straight away, everything's a no. So yeah, that's quite challenging if you kind of picture it in that way. But then someone who's ambitious. So that's my type, but I don't know, it hasn't really...
As you're speaking it, it's going to look
Amen.
That's it.
Like, I need a man who's ambitious, because I feel like life has lots to offer. Why are we just sitting around not trying? Like, so be ambitious, be a go-getter. It doesn't matter where you are. There's so much more that, you can get out of life and you can offer other people. And someone who has a heart to serve. So anyone who has a heart to serve, love children, they love old people, that, you can be a good minister, a good whatever. Like, so a heart to serve goes a long way. That's 3, right? Gosh, I am...
Ambition, that's my number 5, because really my 2 and my 5 are kind of the same. I forgot ambition.
I mean, I literally have family-oriented / ambition, so,
What?
Ambition is important.
Ambition is
It's
important.
very important.
Okay,
especially if you're an ambitious person, you can't, it'd be quite hard to be someone that isn't.
God-fearing, a heart to serve, ambitious. So you've got 2 more left.
2 more. Gosh. Someone who, because I'm a very serious person, I've been told. So someone who can kind of bring me out of that a lot of the time, so that we can joke together. Because I do think, I am a funny person. But
you said that.
I don't trust no, I've been told many a times you're very serious. You come across as a very serious person. But actually on the inside, I want to be very relaxed and, do things and enjoy the simple things in life. So yeah, someone who can drive that out. And the last one, go-getter. I know it's the same as ambition, but it's very important. I need to do a double take of that. No, it's for me, it's very important. Like, because when we are at a point where we have no, because I believe that a relationship needs a common goal. But if you're both ambitious, you can create common goals, and that will keep the relationship going. So when I can't be bothered to talk to you, if we have a common goal, we have to talk, because we need to achieve something together. So yeah, you have to be ambitious, because it keeps the fire going for me in the relationship.
So would you say that it's more important for the man to be more ambitious than the woman?
I don't think
Or do you think it has to be
necessarily.
equal?
You just have to have the desire to want to do something.
However, in
Yeah.
situations where the man is not as ambitious as the woman, there's a problem in the dynamics.
Yeah.
So I do
Yes.
think it's important for the man to be ambitious.
Yeah.
But that's just
I agree.
my opinion.
I mean, the ratio of that doesn't matter because I think people have different interests because you're two different individuals. But you have to have you want to
need
do
to have that
something, go getter, go get things done. Sorry, I know I'm still
You didn't understand.
like you need to do stuff. But yeah, so anyway.
So based on all the points that you guys have given and based on your standard of what your ideal person is, do you think that these are coming from, where do they stem from? Because as Christians, we should base our desires for our partner in life to be from the scriptures, from the Bible.
We said Christians.
Yeah. I mean, it's one out of
don't judge me.
No, not really. Being the head of the home can be
being the
considered
head
as ambitious.
Yeah, because they even want him to be tall. So they're looking to be very submissive to
I
this
just want
man.
us to analyze. So basically, I was going to come to you just because your whole coordination thing. I know it's a very, I like it. I like it, You need to be able to carry yourself into, Yeah, I like that. I like that it's one of your values as well because, like you said, you're somebody who likes to dress up nicely and you like your woman to represent you as well. Makes sense. I get it. But is that right? To have that kind of desire for the person that you want to be with? Is it scriptural? Is it in line with what we as Christians should be choosing our partners on the basis of?
Do you know what? I'll be honest. I don't think it really is. But I don't think there's anything wrong with it at the same time. Really,
Okay.
Personally, I don't think it's carnal. I just feel like it's just a preference, you know what I mean? I don't want someone that looks shabby.
So if God sent you the woman
Yeah.
of your dreams, she was submissive, she was God-fearing, she was willing to do weird things. And your top 5, but she just didn't have this coordination.
Yeah.
Is it a
of
deal
clothing.
breaker?
Yeah. Is it one of those things that you'd be like, no way, God, it's not happening?
I want a refund.
Do you know what? In most scenarios, I will have to say no. I'm very.
Josh has better options, obviously.
Is that not an issue?
This is what men compared to
shallow.
women.
And
when it comes to clothes, when it comes to clothes and dressing, I'm very shallow.
no, okay, if she's willing to learn, can you not teach her to dress?
But then that could. What if she's willing to learn in the beginning and then later on, she's
Wow. I'm so sorry.
Where's your face?
Like I said, in most scenarios, I'd say no. But there is the
one-off.
the one-off, and we can't forget about that. Do you know what I mean? So yeah,
So
Wow.
yeah.
Because to be honest, I already found a way to defend you. Do you
So
know what
did
I mean?
I.
To defend your standard, to say that you want somebody who is coordinated. I was thinking, yes, excellence, scriptures talk about excellence. The virtuous woman, she was well dressed. I was thinking about all of
exactly.
this.
That's what I
But you
thought.
didn't think about that. So that makes me think, where did this preference come from?
I don't know how this experience has been for you. Have you literally told someone because they haven't?
No, I haven't. I mean, I'll be honest. I have to be honest. I am shallow when it comes to.
But is that biblical?
When it comes to people, it really isn't. And maybe
I love Josh just keeps it 100.
maybe by the grace of God, I will change. Do you know what I mean?
Amen.
But
Amen.
We're going to start a prayer chain
Yes.
after this.
That's the only thing about me that I would say is the most shallow, dress codes. That's the only thing, physical appearance. I mean, I don't have a preference when it comes to the physical or whatever, but dressing is so important to me. It's so important. I just don't want someone that just.
Dresses anyhow.
Yeah, I can't stand it.
I completely understand it.
As a woman, there are so many options for you, in terms
have a
of
lot of
dress.
clothes.
So it's what
He looks upset.
no, but
Why would you?
really,
What's the excuse?
How dare you? The
There we go.
effrontery.
As a man, men, for men, it's harder for us to look decent because we don't have as much options.
Just
And clothing is a lot more expensive. But as women, there's so much available. So it's like when I see someone that knows how to dress and all that, it's just so attractive.
But she could be evolving.
Just out of curiosity, so sorry to interrupt, sweetheart. So are we talking about, because I just want to understand, people who don't clean their clothes, or are you saying if she's not head to toe in Chloe, it's a no-go?
Wow.
Because she could be saving for a mortgage. I'm just trying to understand. Like for me, I like to dress well, but designer clothes are not a priority for me. If I can invest in a designer piece here and there, like in a nice little bag, my glasses, but this outfit is all Zara. And I think I look cute personally.
Yeah.
But like,
thank you,
sweetheart.
disclaimer.
Thank you.
Designer doesn't equate to nice.
He specified designer things. That's why I'm trying to understand, like, how are we defining dress well? Are we talking about people who
are able to
don't know how to put
things together,
or that they don't have Gucci?
That's basically what I mean, like people that just have dress sense.
Just
Gucci and all that stuff, Saint Laurent, it's not in the equation, but
I guess it's so.
I can add that.
His name is designers. Woo!
But I mean, like, just dress sense, just simple dress sense, yeah. You know? And you look great, by the way. Also.
Thank you.
Oh.
Thank you.
No problem.
Thanks. I really like my trousers.
Okay. I mean, you defended yourself, so praise God. I mean,
we want someone taller. So look, taller,
this
coordination.
height thing is definitely a psychological thing,
but for me, it wouldn't be. I'm trying to think if I met someone in all sincerity and we vibed and they were everything on my list, and if when I was wearing heels, I was like a teeny tiny bit taller. For me, it wouldn't be a deal breaker. But what I said initially is, I wouldn't initially be attracted to that person. But if I got to know, let's say we were friends, and then along the line, it kind of seemed like I was going in a different direction, and be like, if only you're a couple centimeters taller, then I can marry you. I personally wouldn't write someone off. But I'm saying if someone approached me and like they're here, I wouldn't initially be attracted. Yeah. But I'm just saying it wouldn't be a deal breaker overall, but the initial attraction wouldn't be there.
I think for me, for instance, like I was just thinking about how you said dressing was a deal breaker. For me, if a guy's not funny, it's a deal breaker. And that's not biblical, that's not scriptural at all. The Bible doesn't say that, husbands make your wives laugh. You know what I mean? It doesn't say anything like that. It's not a quality that you need to be a good God-serving man. You know what I mean? But for me, that's a deal breaker. So I guess the question now is, as Christians, is it right for us to have these deal breakers that are not spiritual? They can't know. Like, a guy can't make you laugh. God can make me laugh.
Do you know?
Do you know what I mean? Like,
God can make you laugh through your man.
Hallelujah.
Because God ain't gonna be there, in spirit form and be like, knock knock. Like that's not gonna happen. And I think
some lit quiet time.
Yeah, no, actually that could happen. I take that back because God does a lot. But on a serious note, I don't think we should demonize people who have specific lists. Because marriage is a teamwork, and I can't. When you go to work and you're like meant to be working with someone, but really you're not vibing. So it's a painful experience. You're like, oh, this project, when we finish, I can't wait to be rid of this person. And you're entering a lifelong journey with an individual. There's certain things that you would like, but I think we need to educate ourselves as we kind of grow through life. What is negotiable, what's non-negotiable? Because, God can change a lot of things. Characters can change. Situations really do change people too. So, your kind of dress thing, this person might be very immature in a place where they just didn't know what to buy or what to wear. Then one day they realize that, oh, this goes well together. If you see them 5 years later, you're going to turn and be like, oh, wow, I should have really spoken to this one. But maybe somebody else has got in there before you do, sorry.
This is what I was thinking about.
That's one of people's experience.
People's just change dramatically.
Yeah.
If you saw...
Yeah.
If you saw me. But
yeah,
honestly, so it's like one of those things where we have to think about our preferences based on carnal or spiritual. And I think you guys pretty much got it down to the head. Like, you chose a Christian man first, or woman first, and then everything else was just your preferences, which you're right, is to do with your walk, your journey. And marriage is a big commitment. It's a big boy commitment. So considering that marriage is such a long-term thing, some of the things on your list, would you want them on your list, or would you reconsider them when you now look at marriage as the whole thing, not just to get up to married kind of thing?
Do you know what? Ultimately, for me anyways, the things that I listed, quite honestly, they weren't necessarily in order. The only thing that was in order was, number one, he's got to be a Christian. Like, there's no two ways about it. And truth be told, while I have this list and I have it's a wish list. It's almost like, I like to liken it to a job description. When you write a job description, it's a wish list. 9 out of 10 times, you're not going to find someone that has every single thing listed. But you pick people, or the recruitment process selects people that you can work with. At least you can help them add certain things on. And that's the way I see it with finding a spouse or, whoever you're going to marry. If, I have my wish list here, but ultimately, if God, woke me up in the midnight hour and said, baby girl, this is your wish list, cancelled. The person I have for you is da-da-da-da-da, da-da-da. Ultimately, because I have a relationship with God and I trust God, that my wish list, out the window.
Swish.
For me, to be honest, I have grown through this process. So you had your wish list, and then I realized that actually that's not going to get me anywhere. So if I re-listed, if I said everything I said again, all of them were characteristics, none of them were physical things. It was all a character that a person is needing to be embedded in them. But because really this conversation is about us and to other Christians as well, I think we have to be quite clear on the fact that we all say, oh, if God said to me, but I think it's really key. Like I remember when people said, oh, if God told me this is my husband, then yeah. Bruv, do you know what God sounds like? If God really came and said, this is your husband, would you know if that's what God was saying? Because many a times these lists cloud that vision. And we're like, oh, no, he's not that kind of person, so it's not working. But I think it's important, like to bring it back, if we're taking it back to God. Let me know what God's yay and nay is, and I have my preferences. Listen, God loves me. He allows me to make my choices. So if one day he realized that my vision needs to be aligned with some next dude who's not on my list, then cool. But until then, I need to know what God's yay and nay is, and I think that's important. So yeah, the list needs to be revised because your journey takes you through different things, and if you walk with God, he takes you through different things. But it's important that we need to know what God really sounds like, because when are you going to know that he said that's the right person or not?
It's true.
I mean, I understand what everyone's saying. I don't want to say too much, but for me, I personally don't think there's any one person that you can marry.
Yeah.
I don't believe in the one, and I don't think God would say this is X, Y, and Z. Because if you think about it, doesn't matter how deep of a Christian you are, there have been Christians that have misstepped. So on that basis, if God will tell you who to marry, there's going to be one person who didn't marry that person. So that means every single person subsequently is marrying someone that they shouldn't be marrying. So for me, I believe God will give you desires of your heart. That doesn't mean your desire should now be, for me personally, I'm not going to say he has to be making X, Y, Z amount of money. But for me, the characteristic comes in, I need to see that you're ambitious. Okay, right now you might not be where you want to be financially, but I need to see that you have a hunger and desire to get to a certain place. And that is scriptural, because if you think about it, the Bible says the man that doesn't work shouldn't eat. Like, I've been in a relationship with someone who wasn't working. It's not fantastic. It was unscriptural. I was like, Lord, let me realign myself back into your word. So at the end of the day, I don't think it's wrong for me to have a desire to be with someone who is ambitious. And when you mentioned the journey, I was thinking a lot of the things that I have listed, I want to add integrity to my list. I'm changing the list again, but I want to add integrity because I realized how important that is to me. I need to know that your yes is your yes, and your no is your no. And when you say you're going to do X, that you're going to do it at the time you said you're going to do it. So for me, integrity is a big thing. But in my journey and navigating through singlehood and understanding myself more and more as a woman and what I want, there's some things that might seem carnal to someone that it's important to me. And I'm not going to apologize for that. I mean, so long as I'm not expecting someone to break the law, I don't think there's any real issue with it. So yes, I want someone that's taller than me, and I'm not going to apologize about that.
No, I think you should get it.
I don't. Praise him. God is faithful, so. So yeah, I don't really think we should demonize some non-explicitly scriptural things, but at the same time, there has to be balance. I don't think you can write someone off just because they don't adhere to X, Y, and Z, but don't think there's anything wrong with you having that desire.
No.
If that makes any sense.
Well,
fishing up your glass.
I mean, my list, can be improvised.
Wow.
Have you changed your mind about apple picking, sir?
I mean,
Improvised.
the thing is, yeah, like, because I know in the Bible it says that beauty is something that will, it's not gonna, you know what I mean? It's very, beauty is in the eye of the beholder, and it's something that will slowly disappear. Like, you're not going to be attracted to who you marry, like, you might not be attracted to the person that you marry in the next 30 years. Do you know what I mean? So
that in Jesus' name.
you know,
Sorry.
like, a woman that is after God's heart, that's the most important thing. So, you know, when I say that I want someone that could dress, I recognize that it's a lot of people would say that it's a shallow thing. It's very shallow to say, oh, you wouldn't. Okay, well, a lot of people do.
I don't think it's shallow. I just think it's shallow to disregard someone because of it, personally. Yeah. But, I mean, everyone wants someone who matches your vim. I think that's normal. But I wouldn't be like, oh, no, you've got boot cut. Sorry, no, let's be honest. Let's be honest. There's a line, not boot cut. But, I mean, if you did wear boot cuts, I'd be like, why don't we explore some other cuts? You know, I feel like, I don't know, I just don't feel like you
I think it's easier for women to kind
whole...
of push a guy to change his dressing, but for a guy to push a woman, I think that's...
Just buy her things if it's that deep.
Yeah.
I don't know.
And it's so carry on.
Like,
Sorry, Josh.
that's all right. In the long run, I see that being able to dress isn't that important, but it's something that I really want. Do you know what I mean? But
I pray you get it.
You know, I recognize that in marriage, it's not that important. Do you know? Because I mean, when you look at finances, spirituality, raising your children, and all that stuff, clothing is nowhere near. It doesn't come before any of that stuff. So, yeah, like I said, it's something I want, but I can see that it's not that important. Yeah.
It makes sense. I mean, I think we've all come to a unison agreement to say that the list is based on the foundation of what we believe in the Bible, but it also has our own specified preferences. But when we look at marriage, there's evolution that happens and there's a little bit of tweaks, but some stuff we are just not going to change them, and no one is going to be demonized for what they prefer, whether carnal or spiritual. And that is it. Literally, let the Spirit lead you to find your man or your woman, and be happy with it, innit? Be happy with your choice.
If there was one way, I think we all look the same and we all behave the same. So God must have made us all different because we're all supposed to be attracted to different things and do different things. So
That's right. That is it. So thank you guys for joining me on this topic. You guys have been great. You guys are amazing. Look at you guys. You're so amazing. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you everyone at home for tuning in. Make sure you stay tuned for next time on The Table. I've been your host, Batsy, and I'll see you guys next time.